Saturday of Holy Week, commonly called Holy Saturday, is a day that's almost forgotten among celebrations of Holy Week. We tend to have egg hunts on Holy Saturday. But Holy Saturday is really important for us to reflect upon the meaning that Jesus, the enfleshed Son of God, died. In death, Jesus shared the weakness of humanity. In death, Jesus shared the greatest suffering of humanity. In John chapter 19, verses 40 through 42, so they took the body of Jesus and bound it in linen wrappings with the spices, as is the burial custom of the Jews. Now in the place where he was crucified, there was a garden, and in the garden was a new tomb, in which no one had yet been laid. Therefore, because of the Jewish day of preparation, since the tomb was nearby, they laid Jesus there. Now, immediately there's some imagery here that we just don't want to miss. They laid the body of Jesus in a garden. It was in a garden that Adam and Eve were exiled. It was in a garden that they rebelled against God. And God had told them that if they ate of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, they would die. In a garden, the dead body of Jesus was laid. It's in death that Jesus shares the greatest temptation and the greatest weakness of humanity. A Christian once asked, "Am I a bad Christian because I'm afraid to die?" And I said, absolutely not. Just read the Psalms. And if we read Psalm 18, verses 4 through 6, we hear the terror of death in the voice of the psalmist. The ropes of death encompassed me, and the torrents of destruction terrified me. The ropes of Sheol surrounded me. The snares of death confronted me. In my distress, I called upon the Lord. It is at the moment of death that humans suffer their greatest temptation. At the moment of death, we have this sense that God has abandoned us. And on the cross, Jesus cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" The preacher of Hebrews tells us, "For since he himself was tempted in that which he has suffered, he is able to come to the aid of those who are tempted." In other words, in a way not possible by anyone else, Jesus Christ can understand the temptation of the fear of death, of the suffering of death, of the experience of death. Only Jesus has died and come back forever, to live forevermore. Only Jesus has defeated death. Therefore, Jesus has shared in the suffering of death. Jesus can walk with us through our death. In Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15, "For we do not have a high priest who cannot sympathize with our weakness, but one who has been tempted in all things just as we are, yet without sin." Every temptation associated with suffering and death, our Lord and Master has suffered, and our Lord and Master has overcome. Therefore, he walks with us through the valley of the shadow of death. Psalm 23, verse 4. "The Lord is my shepherd. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me." So on Holy Saturday, we remember that Jesus died, that Jesus is laying in the tomb. On Holy Saturday, we face our own mortality. We face our fears. We face our uncertainties. And because we know that Jesus has shared all of these temptations, all of these sufferings in a way no one else has shared them, and because we know that Jesus is God, we can face the grave with hope.